One of the most compelling and too often overlooked events of the 20th century took place just south of the United States. Home to the largest population of Hispanohablantes in the world, this beautiful and storied country endured what is one of the most pivotal events in North American history. Of course, I'm referring to the Mexican Revolution. One of the most inspiring facts of the Mexican Revolution is who actually fought, who actually revolted. In the past, it's often been that wealthy individuals find a cause to overthrow or have a coup or do some depose of the king or depose of the local rulers. And so using their wealth and connections, they raise up an army that's paid and designed to fight directly for them. And it ultimately ends with the same type of structure or hierarchical government system being put in place, just a different ruler. But for the Mexican Revolution, rather than the common rebel army that's raised up and propped up by wealthy patrons, this was fought almost exclusively by the people being exploited the most, what we would call peasants of this age. So rather than the unifying features of these revolucionarios being money and maybe a common government system or an economic purview or a particular being in the sky, rather, the unifying features of these revolutionaries were their age, they were all young, their gender, they were mostly men, their location in accordance to the capital city, these were all provincial peoples, and most importantly, they had a desire for freedom. In particular, these revolutionaries had seen their country go from an agricultural-based country to a country of industry, trade, and international export. They've seen the promises being made by Porfirio Diaz, and they've seen those promises being broken time and time again. Diaz, the dictator in power during this time, was just about as European as you could get without actually being from Europe. He believed that the path to a strong country was through international investment, and we all know what investment really means, of Mexico's natural resources, of which there is an abundance. This had meant that while the average Mexican city had seen trains and infrastructure being built in their country, their goods being put onto steamboats and ships for international markets, they received none of the fruits of their labors. And every year, more and more was taken from them. As a pretty horrific example of this, Porfirio Diaz had been beefing up the capacity for and forgive me for this, rurales, which were the provincial guard paid for by the federal government, and their entire job, besides keeping the peace through violent means, was to seize land from peasants and give it to the rich hacendados, which were the wealthy landowners associated with Diaz. By 1900, 10 years before the Mexican Revolution officially kicked off, over 90% of the communal lands in Mexico belonged to the hacendados, and over 10 million